How to do artillery in Foxhole. Artillery consists of three positions. A loader whose main job is to load ammunition into the gun and change the azimuth. Sometimes this gets separated depending on how many people you got. It consists of a gunner who shoots the gun and reload it, and also change the distance. It's also the gunner who generally leads the entire operation, or it depends on how you do it. Sometimes it's the spotter that do that. The spotter's job is to tell the distance and the azimuth for the gun, and you will also need to know how to do other calculations like wind correction. We're gonna be focusing on how to learn to spot when you're a spotter. You're gonna need to know four things in order to be a spotter. You're gonna need how to get the distance, what wind levels are, and how to make wind correction, what dispersion is. Distance is very easy to get. All you need to do is having a map and a measuring tool. You can use the Foxhole stats, for example. As I'm showing here, the black dot is where we have the gun, and the red dot is where we want to shoot. We start by selecting on the black dot and dragging it all the way to the red dot. That means we're gonna get a line like this. This would tell us the distance and the azimuth, but these are not the numbers we are gonna use. In order to get the real numbers that you're actually you're gonna need to know how wind works in this game. First of all, there are 5 different wind curves. You can either look at my images over here, or you could go to the Foxhole wiki and you can find a higher quality GIF. As you can see, this Winter 1, Winter 2, Winter 3, Winter 4, and Winter 5. Then you're gonna need to know how to make wind correction. For the artillery types, there's 120, 150, and 300, not including mortars. And as you can see, the offset per wind levels. This will show you in how many meters the shells will move depending on the wind level. For each wind level, a 120mm changes 25 meters, a 150mm changes 25 meters as well, and a 300mm artillery cannon will change 50 meters per wind level. So as you can see here, it's the same line that we had before for firing, but this time we have started to include how to make the wind correction. In this example, we're expecting there to be a wind that is blowing south. A tier 2 wind blowing south, so we're making a correction of 50 meters to compensate for that. This correction is going north to go against the wind, so the shells will still land where they're supposed to land. And then what we do is we drag a second line from the first position to this new position where we have over here. This will tell us the distance and the azimuth that we want to shoot at. As we can see for this example, the distance is 239 meters and the azimuth is 247.6. For the azimuth, you generally don't get it exactly close, and the same goes for distance. You just have to get it roughly. You can't also fully trust these numbers because the wind is kind of hard to get to know exactly the exact azimuth, which will lead to some fault errors. That's why the spotter generally is looking where the fire so you can make real-time adjustments. You can also use other third-party softwares that will basically do all the calculation for you. But those are a bit harder to find and it ain't as public and easy to use depending on how you look at it. Now to dispersion. When you spot, you're gonna see that not every single shell lands in one position. They can be like flying all around like one area, so generally you can't be targeting smaller targets like tanks because the shells won't land where you want them. They will land close but never on the target really. So what you usually do is when you have found a position, you fire some shells to see where the dispersion is landing, and then you kind of find the middle of those, the meeting points, and then you will know where the actual point of your shells is landing. So you can't trust one shell where it's landing. You need to see multiple and kind of make that the multiple is around the position you want, because shells will never land exactly where you want them.